After 22 long years of marriage, I never imagined that a single, seemingly harmless text message could completely destroy the life I had built. It was a quiet Friday evening, just before 6 o'clock. The house was peaceful, the kind of calm I had come to cherish after decades of raising our children and navigating the everyday chaos of family life. My phone buzzed on the kitchen counter while I was preparing a simple dinner for one. It was Rebecca, stuck at Mom's dinner. "Sorry, honey. Don't wait up." The word seemed completely ordinary. Rebecca's mother had always been the heart of the family, constantly organizing dinners and gatherings. Over the years, I had skipped many of them, sometimes because of work, sometimes simply because I preferred a quiet night at home. I replied with a quick, "Okay, love you," and went back to chopping vegetables, never suspecting that this ordinary evening was about to become the turning point of my life. But 10 minutes later, my phone rang. The caller ID displayed Jennifer Collins. I frowned. I barely knew her. She was the wife of Mark Collins, one of Rebecca's co-workers. We had met once or twice at company events, exchanging polite small talk. Her voice, when I answered, was shaky and fragile, barely holding together. "Michael. I'm so sorry to call you like this. Are you free right now? I think our spouses have been lying to us for a long time." My stomach dropped. Something in her tone told me this wasn't a misunderstanding. Within 30 minutes, I was sitting across from her in a dimly lit, upscale Italian restaurant downtown. The warm glow of candlelight flickered on crisp white tablecloths, and the rich aroma of garlic, fresh herbs, roasted tomatoes, and baking bread filled the air. Yet neither of us could even think about eating. Jennifer looked exhausted, dark circles under her eyes, her hands trembling slightly as she clutched her phone. Without wasting words, she slid her phone across the polished wooden table. "You need to see this." My heart pounded as I scrolled through screenshot after screenshot, flirty, intimate messages filled with inside jokes and pet names, secret hotel reservations, stolen photos of them smiling together in places I had never been. The evidence was undeniable and overwhelming. A wave of nausea hit me so hard I had to grip the edge of the table. "I followed him this afternoon," Jennifer confessed quietly, her eyes red and swollen from crying. "I had suspected something for weeks, but today I saw him leave work early. He's here. Right now. Here." I whispered, my voice barely audible over the soft murmur of other diners. She nodded painfully and glanced toward the far corner of the restaurant. Hidden partially behind a tall, elegant floral arrangement bursting with white lilies and roses, sat my wife of 22 years and Jennifer's husband. They were laughing softly, completely lost in their own world. Rebecca was feeding Mark a forkful of pasta, her fingers lingering on his hand. They shared the kind of intimate, loving glances I hadn't seen from her in years. It felt like someone had punched me in the chest. In that moment, my entire 22-year marriage collapsed before my eyes. All the memories, our wedding day, the births of our children, family vacations, late-night talks, flashed through my mind like a cruel montage. For several long, heavy minutes, Jennifer and I sat in stunned silence, unable to find words. Strangely, neither of us felt the urge to storm over and cause a scene. The shock ran too deep, it was paralyzing. Then my phone vibrated again. Another message from Rebecca, still at Mom's. "Sorry. Love you." The lie stared back at me from the screen. Jennifer read it over my shoulder and let out a bitter, hollow laugh that carried years of pain. "She's really committed to the lie, isn't she? Even now." That's when the idea struck me like a lightning bolt. With a sad, exhausted smile, I typed back slowly, "Guess what? I'm at your mom's dinner too. Turn around." I pressed send. The transformation across the room was immediate and devastating. Rebecca's joyful smile froze on her face. She stared at her phone in confusion, rereading the message. Then, slowly, almost in slow motion, she turned her head. The moment our eyes met across the restaurant, every drop of color drained from her face. Mark looked equally horrified when he spotted Jennifer sitting right beside me. For a few frozen seconds, it felt as if the entire restaurant had gone silent, holding its breath with us. Rebecca shot up from her chair so violently that her wine glass tipped over, shattering loudly on the tiled floor and spilling deep red wine like blood. "Michael," she whispered, her voice cracking with terror. Mark opened his mouth to speak, but Jennifer simply raised her hand and said with icy calm, "Don't. Just, don't." The silence that followed was heavier and more terrifying than any shouting match could ever have been. Rebecca rushed toward our table, tears already streaming down her cheeks. "It's not what it looks like," she pleaded desperately, her voice trembling. "Please, let me explain." Jennifer gave a sharp, bitter laugh. "Really? Because from where I'm sitting, it looks exactly like what we think it is. Months of sneaking around, lying to our faces. Other diners tried to act disinterested, but their stolen glances and hushed whispers were impossible to ignore. The drama had become the evening's unwanted entertainment. I looked at Rebecca, the woman I had loved, supported, and built a life with for more than 2 decades, and felt something surprising wash over me. Not explosive anger, but a profound, bone-deep exhaustion. Exhaustion from years of subtle deceptions I had chosen to ignore, from endless excuses, from pouring my heart into someone who no longer valued the beautiful life we had created together. Without raising my voice, I stood up slowly, slipped off my wedding ring, and placed it gently on the table with a quiet click. Jennifer did the same with hers. "Congratulations," she said coldly to both of them. "You don't have to sneak around and lie anymore. You're free." Rebecca completely broke down. "Please, Michael, don't do this," she begged, reaching out for my hand with tear-stained fingers. "I love you. This was a mistake. It didn't mean anything." I looked at her one last time. "No," I said softly but firmly. "You made this choice many months ago. I'm just finally accepting it." Jennifer and I walked out of the restaurant side by side, leaving our devastated spouses sitting amid the broken glass, spilled wine, and the ruins of their secret fantasy. The cool evening air outside felt like a fresh start. In the difficult months that followed, Rebecca called me almost every single day. Sometimes she cried for hours on the phone, apologizing endlessly and swearing that the affair had been nothing but a terrible, fleeting mistake. Once the thrill of secrecy vanished, her relationship with Mark quickly lost its spark and turned bitter and resentful. Mark and Jennifer's marriage ended swiftly in a painful divorce. Within just a few months, Mark and Rebecca's relationship also crumbled. Mutual friends later told me the trust issues became unbearable. 2 people who had begun their romance built on betrayal could never fully trust one another again. The same excitement that had drawn them together eventually poisoned everything. Meanwhile, Jennifer and I found an unexpected source of comfort in each other. We supported one another through the long, messy divorces, the paperwork, the lawyers, the emotional breakdowns at 2 a.m. We shared late-night conversations about our broken marriages, the moments we had missed the signs, and the pain of shattered trust. At first, there was absolutely no romance, only deep understanding and genuine friendship. No one else in the world could truly comprehend the humiliation, betrayal, and heartbreak we had both endured except each other. Over countless cups of coffee, long peaceful walks in the park, quiet dinners, and honest, soul-bearing talks, something beautiful and unexpected began to grow between us. We laughed again, real, genuine laughter. We healed, slowly and patiently. And eventually, without planning or forcing it, we fell deeply in love. 2 years later, Rebecca unexpectedly saw us together at a large charity gala. The moment her eyes landed on the sparkling engagement ring on Jennifer's finger, fresh tears welled up in her eyes. She approached us quietly, her voice barely above a whisper. "I never imagined I would lose everything like this." I looked at her with a mix of sadness and calm. There was no anger left. "You didn't lose everything in one night, Rebecca. You lost it one lie at a time." She nodded slowly, tears rolling freely down her face. Deep down, I believe she already knew the truth. Last spring, Jennifer became my wife in a beautiful, intimate ceremony surrounded by the people who truly supported us. During our wedding reception, as we danced under soft lights, she leaned close and whispered with a soft, warm laugh, "Can you believe our very first date was catching our spouses cheating on us in that restaurant?" I laughed with her, pulling her closer. Life really does have a strange, wonderful, and sometimes painful sense of humor. Looking back now, I've come to believe something profoundly important. Sometimes the person who breaks your heart is unknowingly leading you straight to the one who will help heal it and make you whole again. And sometimes, the most powerful message you'll ever send in your entire life is just 7 simple words. Guess what? I'm at your mom's dinner too. Turn around.